Hey yo YouTube, Spectre Slide coming at you again today, and here we are. This is part 2 of modding Soul Calibur 5 for the PS3. What we're going to cover over today is how to splice one player and two player equipment from the roster data onto free player and COS models. It's a very simple process on how to do it. It just requires isolating a lot of body parts to match up with that of the one player or two player models and placing the 5 bytes of that model that we're trying to hex into certain spots of the hex. And it's not that bad, and it's pretty straightforward. So, nothing to waste, let's get right into it. So you want to do, as usual, you want to go to brute force, you want to decrypt the PFD, open it up in Explorer, open up the save.dat, and I'm gonna search up Nightmare here. Or I'll do Siegfried. And what's different from the first part, I want to go ahead and copy all of that hex of the model until you get to this last Y here, and there should be a lot of rows of dots right here, but make sure you copy it to this last Y right here, Y dot dot. Copy it. Want to open up a new slot and paste all that in. It's just way more organized and it makes things a lot more easier. Now, what's different from the first part, if you want to set the group size to 4, that's all up to you. That's fine. More power to you. But I'm used to just leaving it at 1. I'm just more used to it. Alright. So let's get started with the splicing here. So let's just go over for which sections we're looking at here. We're looking at the first slot here, which contains the equipment and the body parts. All of this is basically the same as far as I know. Now, so let's just say if I wanted to give Siegfried his legendary Souls attire, if you haven't played it. He basically looks like himself in Soul Calibur 4. It's basically the idea. So how would we be able to make that possible? Well, you see at offset 540 from byte OB to OF. Now usually this would be FFOO FFFF, as you can see. But what I did here, I took from what I found on a certain text file that I found on one of the 360 tutorials, and I basically changed that into the 5 bytes that makes it possible to give Siegfried his legendary Souls attire, which is this case is 0082000001F. Will be the 5 bytes that we'll be using. You want to place that in slot in offset 540, 660, 780, and A8. 880 will be the 4 spots that you want to put it at. What this does is gives any character that you apply to Siegfried's legendary Souls equipment. All there, all good. But it will clip horrendously if we don't isolate the body parts. So how do you do that? Well, you can see here, you see all these FF0000 FFFF? Usually, these were 0200 then 0204, I mean 0404, 0404, etc., etc. We're gonna have to make each of these parts FF0000 FFFF. All of it except for the neck up is what we want to do. So, here's what I mean. So basically, you isolate everything here except for the neck, which will be 2 zeros, the skull, which is 0D, and the hair in the face model, which will be OE and OF. So you just put FF, 4 zeros here, and then 4 Fs right here to do that. It's all you do for each section of the hex. For here, 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 and here. It's not that bad really. You'll see what I mean when you see the 0200 and all that. You just set them all to Fs. FF0000 FFFF. And that's all you do. And that's basically all you have to do really on the concept of splicing. I'll have a pic in the description of my results from doing this. The same can be done for Nightmare and his Legendary Souls attire, and for Cervantes and his Legendary Souls attire. Only Nightmare doesn't seem to have his little vortex thing in his stomach. It doesn't appear for some reason. If anyone knows how to fix that, feel free to put that up in the comments down below, and I'll appreciate it. Give it credit to you. But yeah, that's basically it on that. And that's really all there is to it to really splicing. To really find how to splice, I'm just going to take for example if I wanted to splice Astaroth's attire. Search up Astaroth here. Oh, whoops. Never mind, we'll do photo. As you can see, I did some editing on Astaroth. Gave him Voldo's moveset. And you just do the same thing here. And copy it. Control N will be a shortcut for making a new one, and then Control V to paste it all in. Now, it should be at around 540. As you can see, it's basically in the same places as I mentioned for when I did the splicing of Siegfried's armor from Legendary Souls. It's basically the exact same places. So, if I wanted to just put that on Siegfried, I just copy this and just paste it into one of the spots that I mentioned previously earlier in this video, and then just paste. And he should now have Astaroth's one-player attire. But remember, you have to just look at the visuals of Astaroth's one-player model. And from there you have to figure out which body parts you gotta isolate. Like, you will most likely have to isolate the shins, the feet, the majority of the leg most likely, the head for the mask, the arms, the hands for the gloves, and etc. You get the idea. You just gotta basically look at the one-player model and then determine what from there you gotta isolate from the model to now make it look like it's clipping. Now, as regards from male equipment to female, this usually isn't the problem. It usually fits just fine. but the other way around is a bit of a conflict, and it kind of bugs out pretty badly. So I wouldn't do from female to male, just male to female body parts, equipment, etc., for that. And that is basically all there is to it, to splicing 1-player, 2-player, and legendary soul attires. It's pretty straightforward, as you can see, no really problems. You just gotta isolate the body parts to match it how it looks from that character's perspective of his 1-player model. And legendary souls, you just gotta isolate the majority of the body, really. And that's all there is to it here. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and part 3 will come later on today. So, looking forward to that. And I'll see you guys then. Take care.